And hello, welcome everyone to this video. So in this video, I want to talk about Rust documentation, and I'll be using NeoVim. Okay, and to actually help you with help you to know what keystrokes I use in NeoVim. Um, I'll be using Connect. So when I press things at the bottom right hand, when I press keys, it will appear on the bottom right hand side, so it won't like get in the way. This is the default behavior anyway, but yeah, it is what it is. So well, some of the things I refer to are the Rust doc books. Of course, I did look up on Stack Overflow to see how to do this Rust docs, but most of the things you can find within the Rust doc books as well. I will be using Cargo Watch later on. You will see why. It's a very convenient thing to do, and just better give some credit. So yes, I did go on YouTube to see how documentation is done, and one of these YouTubers whose video is very helpful is Cresclam. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it, but pronouncing the name right, but it's a very fine young gentleman here who has helped me to understand a little bit more on Rust and how to get it done properly. So credits to him, and of course other Stack Overflow people I could not even remember at this point in time. But without further ado, let's just start. Okay, so here I have a code that demonstrates some concurrency in Rust. I will just clone it and hit clone here. Okay, so I'll be using PowerShell, but for all intents and purposes, it should closely mirror how things are done in Linux, because cdls, all of this will work. But the thing is, yeah, it's not exactly the same as a Z shell, but it's close enough. Okay, so you can repeat most of these steps there, but yeah, let me just start new Vim here, and this is my NeoVim. It's 0.72, not the latest, but it has the plugins I have. So I have Nerd3 on, and this is one of the most important plugins because I have Airline and everything else as well. But let's just get straight to Rust code. Okay, here is the source code, the main.rs. The main.rs is here. There are a few things here. There are some of my comments, but none of this is documentation. So I will need to, well, do documentation on this example piece of code. And of course, I'll be explaining how the code goes. So let me open a PowerShell first. This is my setup I prefer. Okay, term PowerShell. Okay, and here we are. I'm in my PowerShell terminal, and I'll go to the Rust concurrency playground where I'm just playing around with some things in concurrency, like threads and this MPSC, which is message passing. Okay, it's message passing between threads. Okay, so what do? Usually I will have, what I like to do is to do cargo watch x, or well, the normal thing to do is to type cargo run, and that will compile everything here, and then it will run the code, right? So here's the code. I'm actually summing to 1000, and I'm actually displaying the time it took for serial calculation and parallel calculation, and then I'm summing to 1 billion. That code actually takes about 11 seconds and 22 seconds respectively. So yeah, it is pretty slow in that regard, because I want to sort of demonstrate how fast or how slow things take when you sum to like 1 billion or something like that. So yeah, I have summed 1 billion numbers, and this actually takes 29 seconds. This is the serial calculation. The parallel calculation takes half the time approximately. Okay, so this just shows a little bit of how this code goes. Okay, so I'll explain the code as I document it, but the focus of this video is on documentation. Okay, so let's start with some tools that I like to use. First thing first, I like to use Cargo Watch. So usually I do cargo install cargo watch. Okay, cargo install cargo-watch, and that is supposed to install cargo watch. the thing nice about Cargo Watch is that every time you change the code, every time you change Rust code, it will automatically restart everything and it will execute the command you give. So for example, here I'm actually doing cargo run. Okay, cargo run will be executed every time I change the source file. So every time I save this file, cargo run will be run again, and it will do something new. Okay, so it will rerun the code. Okay, so this is what I really like. I really like Cargo Watch. So just write cargo install cargo-watch, and this will be running in the background. Okay, so what exactly are we doing here? So first we want to compile the code here, and we want to of course run the code. We want to do some tests. We want to run the code, and also we want to document the code. Okay, so yeah, that's a lot of information, but yeah, let's just start the code, right? So I'm using Cargo Watch. I'll let it install for a little bit. I'll try not to overload you too much information. Okay, so yeah, I'll let it finish and then I will like fast forward to when it finishes. Yeah, but anyway, since it's downloading, let me show you where the Cargo Watch is. You can go to crates.io/crates/cargo watch, and the install instructions are here. Okay, so pre-built binaries, you can actually install cargo bin install. So you can do the cargo binary install or cargo install cargo watch. Cargo install cargo watch will actually build the source files. So may or may not be the best, but okay, it works. Okay, so that's cargo install cargo watch. Cargo bin install cargo watch. Bin binary installs will be faster if you don't want to wait for all these download times. But yes, it will say cargo watch for me. It's already installed. I don't need to overwrite anything, so we are good. How I use it? Okay, cargo watch, and then you execute the cargo command. So instead of doing cargo run, you put cargo watch -x and then you put run. Okay, what's nice about this? Okay, so let me just demonstrate. If I want to put another print line down here, and then I'll put hello world 2, and then I'll put this. I'll save it. Okay, cargo watch will actually auto restart, and then here I'll have hello world 2. Delete this. Okay, I will have cargo watch actually restart everything. So you see now it's restarted to hello world, and then it's doing its calculations in the background. Okay, so now yes, we want to do documentation. How do we start? Okay, we want to start by getting cargo to assist us, getting the Rust compiler to assist us. And what I like to do is start with a lint. Okay, so what's the lint do? Okay, the lint here is called warn missing docs, which basically does this. It will just print out warnings. Okay, print out compiler warnings every time you it'll print out compiler warnings every time you do not put documentation. So this is the site under the Rust doc lints. Just use this macro called warn missing docs and save. And let's take a look at the results here. Yeah, it will complain that there are missing documentations. Where are these missing documentations? First, over here for this, for the whole thing, it says there's a missing documentation for the crate. Okay, missing documentation for the crate. Okay, so for the crate level documentation, since it's missing, it will actually show this lint. It will show this warning, missing documentation for crate. All right, so if you have a very extended library with lots of dependencies, lots of public functions, it will start to warn about all of these. Now, if you of course, this thing only wants for missing crate documentation because all my functions here are private. If you want the warning for everything else, you kind of have to use public. You have to put the public access modifier on all your functions, and then it will warn. For example, here, public function serial sum to 1000. It will warn that there's a missing documentation for the function. So this lint only works for public functions. Okay, so you go up. Okay, go 25 up, and then I can put a public function main. It will lint it. Okay, it will make sure to say, okay, please document the code. If not, you will have all these warnings down here. So if you want that lint to warn about all the undocumented code, use this warn missing docs, and it will basically provide all these warnings to tell you and remind you what you need to document. Okay, so that is the lint. Very useful. So it will keep printing out warnings till you are done. Okay, so what's the next step? You want to actually print out documentation, right? And you want to view that documentation. So first thing first, let's do crate level documentation. So let me do / and exclamation mark. This is how you do crate documentation. Okay, then you can put this is crate documentation. You save it, and what Rust will actually do, it will actually not generate any documentation. So you actually have to do something as well. Okay, I'm going to open another terminal here. Okay, I'm going to go to Rust concurrency playground, and maybe I'll just cd vim to here. Okay, I'll be here. And what do I want to do? I want to do cargo doc. Okay, cargo doc is the correct command to generate documentation. Okay, and this is what you're supposed to do. Write cargo doc, okay, write cargo doc. And every time the source file changes, you also want cargo doc to run. Okay, so where will you find, before I go into the automation process, where can you find this? Okay, you can do explorer.exe or use whatever file explorer you have, you know, Linux or Windows or even Mac. Okay, I'm going to open Explorer here, and I'm going to go to target. Okay, go to doc. Okay, go to doc, and your documentation will be here. Where exactly is it? Okay, my GitHub repository here is called Rust Concurrency Playground. Okay, so you go to target, go to doc, and for this case, go to Rust Concurrency Playground. Okay, the documentation name or crate, the documentation crate name will be the same. Yeah, if you want to look for where to access your Rust documentation, look for your documentation. Look for your crate name or your GitHub, the repository name. The main name will be that folder you need to look for. So for example, my folder here is called Rust Concurrency Playground. So the folder where the documentation is stored, you need to look for is Rust Concurrency Playground. Okay, if your library is named ABC, then this folder will be named ABC. Okay, so here we are. Okay, here's where the documentation files are. So go to the index, double click the index, and you'll be open up in Firefox. And then here you'll say this is crate documentation. Okay. Okay, so this is crate documentation, and this is what we actually wrote right here. Oops. Yeah, this is what I wrote here. This is crate documentation, and that will actually just appear here. Now, of course, the whole reason why I went on talking about cargo watch is because I want this process to be automated. So instead of doing cargo doc, I'll do cargo watch with execution doc. Yeah, so cargo, you just put the cargo and you put watch -x. That will help you to automate the process of any command you want, whether it's cargo doc, cargo test, cargo run, cargo build, that's fine. Okay, so let's do cargo watch -x doc, and this will actually automate the documentation. So if I put ABC123 here, or rather, this is create documentation. I want to change this to, this is a demo file, or yeah, I'll call it a demo file for using concurrency and multi-threaded calculation in Rust. Okay, so I'll just save this. Okay, and what will cargo watch do? Cargo watch x dot do? It will recompile the documentation automatically for you. Okay, so while you're here, you just press the reload button, and then here we go. This is a demo file for using concurrency and multi-threaded calculation in Rust. Just press the Ctrl R reload button, you'll be fine. Okay, so this is basically yeah, we have first demonstrated how to do what do you call that, crate level documentation using the / exclamation mark. It is orange colored in my NeoVim lints, or NeoVim language servers, all that thing. So that's what happens. Okay, so let's have some documentation for other functions. For example, the main function here, we can do triple / and this will actually be documentation for this main function. And I'll say here, the main function here, what does it do? It just runs the comparison code. Okay, main function here just runs the comparison code, and you can, again, since it's automated, okay, Rust cargo watch will actually build the documentation for you. So I can press reload, and you can see that here the main function here just runs the comparison code. So you can keep doing this over and over again to see where your automate the documentation generation. You can go to main, and then you will find that the comments are right here. Of course, you can go and click on the source code, you will see all the source code, but that's automatically generated for you, but I don't really want to bother. Okay, so this is how you do the main function thingy. Okay, so that's how we'll do it. And now, of course, since main has the main function has documentation, we can also write a little bit of documentation for the rest as well. Just go down, and okay, it says here missing documentation for function. Okay, so this is where it's useful in case you have huge number of files where you don't know where to start documenting. Just look at the Rust warnings here. Missing documentation for function. Where is it? Pub function sum to 1 billion. So look for sum to 1 billion, and it also tell you where the documentation is missing. So sum to 1 billion. Okay, so okay, I can just write here in this function I sum to 1, okay, sum 1 approx, okay, approx 1 billion integers using what? Okay, using a for loop. Okay, using a for loop. Okay, save it. Okay, and of course cargo watch will again compile it for me, and I can just reload, and yeah, here we are. So I can do the same. Right here. Okay, so parallel sum to 1 billion. Okay, sum to 1 billion approximately for loop. Okay, so this, your first few lines actually here will be a short description, which will appear here. If I want a long description, so this is how you do it. Okay, for this function, I sum it using one thread only. Okay, so this is what I do. So I can say it is a serial calculation. Okay, I better correct that. Calculation. Okay, it's a serial calculation. And then if I reload, okay, only the first line actually appears here. So if you click this, my second line will appear here. You have to separate it by a line here, by a continuous line of blank space, and then you'll have this so-called summary, and then you have the long description right here. Okay, for now I'll stop. We'll continue more in the next video where we can talk about documentation tests and etc. But I don't want to drag it. It's already 20 minutes. So as far as possible, I keep it short. Okay, see you next time.